الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين نحمده ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله يا ايها الذين امنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن الا يا أيها الإنسان اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها ومن الرجال كثيرا من النساء اتقوا الله واتقوا منه واتقوا الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا
Everything that I said in the, from Quran, he can explain in details, no matter what it was. But how many people do we have? And by the way, he's an American from New York. So how many people do we have like that in the world that can do that? To know it in Arabic, he can say it completely in Arabic. He speaks Arabic fluently, but it can also bring to the English language. Is that important? Yes or no?
Yes.
How important is it? Well, let's put it like this. If you don't even know what you're saying, oops, then anybody can come along and tell you what it means. True?
Yes.
Let me give you one example of that. I want you to think about it. How important is it to know? Now we're going to go back to the time of Omar radiallahu anhu. Now all of these people spoke the Arabic of that time, okay? So there's no doubt about that. This is not the question anymore. It's just knowing what does something mean in the Quran. And there was a gathering, and Omar was there, And there were elders, a lot of elders in there. And next to Omar was this young, it says young boy. We know who he was. But anyway, I'll just leave it there for now. This young boy sitting next to him. One of the elders said, you know what? We have young boys too. We didn't bring them here. It's kind of a tight gathering, so, how come this guy's here? Omar asked them, what is Surah An-Nasr? Well, in Arabic, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذ جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. And they, one by one, different ones try to give a meaning to it. It means when you see the help of Allah is coming, the opening, when you see this, the nusra of Allah, and the victory that you have, and the people entering into the deen of Allah, afwaja, in great big groups, hymn the praises of your Lord, remembering Allah, repeating La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, like this, and make tawbah. Turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's right? Pretty much, huh? Omar just looked at him and he pointed to the boy and said, tell him what it means. Look who is this is companions. This is companions and maybe some of the companions of the companions. The boy says, it was to signify. What does Allah mean when he sends this down? It was to signify the death of Muhammad. Huh? What? The word death, maut, is not in there. To kill, qatl, is not in there. Muhammad is not in there. Ahmed is not in there. Nabi is not in there. Rasul is not in there. Nowhere can you find any of those words. True? Where did you get that from? Omar addressed the Jama'at. He said, I don't know anything other than what this boy said. So how do you know what the Quran means? How do you know? If we don't even know the Arabic, how do you know what the Quran means? And how they know is from the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. It's amazing, huh? This is how critical it is for us to have our real teachers in our real settings, instead of going to the various universities scattered around the world and hanging out with people that are converts to Islam, like me, trying to teach you what's Islam. That doesn't work. I'm discrediting myself. Hello, you follow that, right? I'm saying that we need to get it from people who really know the language, know the Quran, know the Hadith, and understand how to apply it in today's world. This means they also have to have an economic, political understanding of what's happening in the real world. Not telling us something that worked back home 50 years ago. That's really not helping the case, is it? What we have today is a real situation. Excuse me, do we have a real situation today?
Yes.
Do Muslims have a real situation? I'm not even talking about Syria being bombed off the map. I'm not talking about the Rohingya Muslims being drowned, raped, and murdered by the thousands and hundreds of thousands. I'm talking about what just is taking place now when we're talking about what's going on in Philistine. I want to ask you something. Do you know what Jerusalem really means? Where I learned it from was not from Muslims, by the way. The university where I was, we had a Jewish professor. He told us Jar Salam. He said, this is how we used to pronounce it. Now we say Shalom. Try this in Arabic. Darussalam. Jerusalem. Now you see it? And he said, this is him, not me. He said it means a place of peace. He said, and it's been anything but that ever since. Keep in mind, this is 20 years ago. He said that to us 20 years ago. Who's saying this? Somebody of the Hebrew language, telling us a place of peace, Dar es Salaam. And saying even that we used to pronounce it that way. Get anything out of that? I got another one for you. Where did the word Palestine come from? Have you got a pal in Palestine? Huh? Let me share something with you before I tell you where the word comes from. When we talk about Al-Quds, what's the picture that we're always given this one particular picture to look at? Al-Quds. Huh? Masjid al-Aqsa. It says it right on it, but then what's the picture we're really looking at? The Dome of the Rock. Masjid al-Aqsa almost never in any picture, almost never. When I came to Islam in the first few years, I thought the Dome of the Rock was the masjid. Everybody's showing it with the beautiful blue tiles around there, and that's not the masjid, is it? So why? Because at the same time they were so-called excavating underneath Masjid al-Aqsa. I'm showing us the picture though of Al-Quds. Showing us the picture of the Dome of the Rock. See, there's no problem. In the meantime, if you didn't know this, there was part of the masjid actually sunk down. Another time they put a huge rock right in front of the door. You couldn't even get into the masjid. But again, on the major news, show the picture of what? Dome on the Rock. Dome on the Rock, fine. And all the Muslims around the world are like, oh, it looks okay to me. I don't see a problem. You don't see a problem? Why? Because you're not looking at the right thing, are you? You don't realize that the masjid itself has had no improvement, no upkeep, and cannot have any upkeep for it. You didn't know that? Well, a lot of people around the world are learning it right this minute while I'm saying it because they're watching this right now live on Facebook. How important is it for us to have a voice in the world today? Well, listen to this. The word Palestine is a mispronunciation. It's not a translation. It's a mispronunciation so that you don't realize what it really is. What's the real word? Philistine. Philistine. What's the big deal? Well, I got news for you. Here's the problem. People are saying, we were here first, we want our land back. Is that what they're saying? Is that basically what it is? We were here a long time ago, want land back. Well, if it's really theirs and we want to give it back, I guess we need to start here and give the land back to the Indians. True or false? They would like to have it back, by the way. I gave Shahada to the chief of one of the tribes and the medicine man of another tribe, and both of them told me clearly in the English language, we would like to have our land back. At least stop moving us around every time you find something valuable underneath the land where we live. Philistine. This is how we're going to prove, inshallah, who really had the land first. Go to the Bible, Old Testament of the Bible. Show the Christians, and of course the Jews, they already know it. Show the Christians what the Bible said. The easiest story is the one about Jalut, Goliath, we call him Goliath in English, and Dawood, we call him David. When David slew Goliath, that's the story. Just go back to the Old Testament of the Bible, books of Moses, you'll find it, it's right there. And it tells us that David was a shepherd and his tribe had moved in and were going up against the Philistines. Goliath was Philistine. He was the Arab. Yeah? It was already there, right? It was Philistine. David killed Goliath with the rock. We know the story. And then the children of Israel moved in. Who was there first? Duh. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. So you get to see how some of these stories don't really follow through. And you can understand. Now, I'm not denying at all that some people would like to have this or have that. Some people may have rights on something, but let's don't use false information to sell your story out to all the folks. The real story is right there. Who was there first? If that's your story, well, those people are still there. You left, not them. The Babylonian exile was a horrific thing, very horrific. A lot of things happened to the children of Israel, a lot of things. Not unlike what we see happening to Muslims today. We can have sympathy and empathy for the folks there. We can. We understand what's going on. At the same time, we need to make it clear to the rest of the community of the world that what they're getting in the so-called news may be not correct. This may be a chance for me to agree with our current president in the fact that we do have fake news out there. I want to take this break just now for a second. For those of you watching online, we always do this. We have a break in the khutbahs when the imam will sit down, and this is a good time for us to make dua, especially it's Jumma Friday. We'll make some dua, inshallah, and then we'll continue with the khutbah, inshallah. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله رب العالمين هو الذي جعلنا مسلمين. We thank Almighty God who has made us Muslim, and we thank all of you brothers and sisters who showed up today for this khutbah, because we want to encourage you to support this effort that we have here, right here in Lomita, California. Tomorrow we have a gathering, and we're asking everybody to show up for this. We need to raise about $500,000 and this is so that we can get things through to get the final permit. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to show it to the folks at home. This shows you that we've got all the check marks in place except one. When we get that last one, we got a masjid back here. I just went through it. It is amazing. We need an elevator in there, though, for people like me that can't go up the steps. So anybody want to help us get an elevator? It's 80 grand, and that's a discount. They knocked off 40 grand. Am I right? Yeah. So that was a good deal, but somebody got to put up the money, and I forgot my wallet. So, hello. So when you leave out of here today, if you can't be there tomorrow, they accept advanced donations. Did you like that? Advanced donations. That means put it in the pot as you got the door. We said it from the beginning, though. We need, and we all agree, that we need our voice now more than ever. Our voice is critical in today's world. Unfortunately, we're in a situation that I'm bringing it to you. I'm just coming off, not off the boat, but off the plane from Malaysia, Indonesia, China, Singapore. And I was telling our brother exactly some of the problems that we had over there. And I want you to see how important, how critical it is for us to maintain our institutions here, our masajid, our madrasas. We need to do that. And we need to keep our voice. What's recently happened, some of you know about Peace TV. We had Peace TV here for a number of years. It's gone. Huda TV, we had it for a while. It's gone. And Digest TV, we've had it for 8 years. 8 years next week. And it was gone yesterday. They got back on. We have until the end of the month, of this month, to raise the funds. But what's happened is, and I won't give you the details, but what's happened over in the Gulf has frozen everything that we have over there, and we can't get it. And we don't know when that's going to turn around. Meantime, that means the full burden of our broadcasting is on the American Muslims. And truthfully, I've been going from one masjid to another, trying to help raise funds for the various institutions such as masajid, schools, and food banks, clinics, so on. I find that most of the Muslims are not just asleep, they're in a coma. When you ask them to do anything, it's like, you want me to do something? You really want me to wake up? I come here to Jumma so I can sleep. I'm real proud of y'all, by the way. Every one of y'all is awake. So proud of that. I was watching, I didn't go to sleep last night. I stayed up to watch the other channels that we have. We have a network around the world, but I'm focused on ours. It was showing us what was going on in Masjid al-Nawawi and in some of the big masajid around the world. We were watching their Jumma Khutba, because theirs is earlier than ours, obviously, right? And I was looking, how many brothers are sitting there right now in the face of what's going on, like this. And the camera's showing them. This is how you care about what's going on? Coma time. Coma. And when they run out the door, they see anybody with a box trying to flip, I'm going to sidestep that. I need my money for my new phone, my new car, my new toys. I need it for that. I can't be donating for something for Allah. Allah owns everything. He don't need it. Wow. You know, the Christians have a better attitude than that. We are supposed to give, as Muslims, 2.5% of our holdings, nothing from our income, 2.5% of our holdings every year. So if you don't have anything, you don't have to give anything. In fact, you're the recipient of the ones given because it goes directly to the poor. Is that true or false? It works like that. Christians have to give 10% of their income every week. And they do it. How do you think they build these big mega temples that they've got, these big churches? How do you think that their pastors drive around in, well, never mind driving, fly around in their multi-million-dollar airplanes? How do you think that happens? How many imams do you know that even owns a small helicopter? How many imams do you know that even have a toy airplane? There's one preacher, I'm not going to mention his name, but it's been in the news how many millions of dollars he wanted to upgrade his jet airplane because he wanted to have more room for his friends to go with him. No, another one. No, but don't mention names because we're on the air, remember? Yeah. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just telling you. The Muslims, by the way, on the planet are the #1 in wealth. We are. It's a Muslim who owns the biggest percentage of Fox Network. Did you know that? I'm not going to tell you who it is, but he's been arrested recently in Saudi. Oops. What I'm getting at is that if you and I don't do our job, then Allah doesn't need us. You're right, He doesn't need us. And meaning He doesn't need to take care of us either, does He? And then you start complaining, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Well, look in the mirror. That's my final message to all of us. When you want to know who the real enemy is, don't point it to Jews. Don't point it to Christians. Don't point even at the Shaitan. Even though he's our worst enemy, just get up and look in the mirror. There's your enemy. Because as long as you don't do anything, Shaitan has got an open door. As long as you remain silent, as long as you do nothing, I promise you, things will always get worse for us. We have a job, we have an assignment. I'll end with what we started with. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. God tells us in this ayah, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse number 3, in the middle of telling us about haram meat and so on, he tells us this statement: on this day have I perfected for you your way of life, your deen, and conferred upon you my greatest of favors, now, and chosen for you to surrender, submit, obey in sincerity and in peace. Al-Islam. May Allah grant us that. Amen. May Allah wake us up to the value of our deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the khair in this life and in the next life and save us from the punishment of the fire. Amen. May Allah not let us go back to misguidance after He's guided our hearts. Amen. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. الحمد لله رب العالمين هو الذي جعلنا مسلمين. Now, before we start the slide, one thing I want to remind you of, please, if you haven't done so already, make arrangements to be with us tomorrow night. I personally am coming here, right, like I said, right from our experience overseas. I'll be telling you a lot about what's going on over there and what's not going on, unfortunately. But we want to know how important is it for us to finish this project and continue with other projects as well. And if you haven't done so already, I didn't even get a chance to talk to you more about this subject, but I hope you have in your mind to have a media center in every single masjid like they do in every single church. You have somebody responsible for media to get the message out to everybody. It's got emails, telephones, whatever. Get the message out. This is happening, that's happening, and so on. Because this is critical for all of us. Inshallah ta'ala. And with that, let's have our Salat al-Jumma. And then, inshallah, we'll have a chance to visit after that. Inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Ikamu salam. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to lead the Salah. I've got something wrong with both of my knees today. So I'm going to ask somebody to, our Imam, to lead the Salah. And then I want to be in the chair in the back, okay?
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله الحمد الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا ذرية من حملنا مع نوح إنه كان عبدا شكورا وقضينا إلى بني إسرائيل في الكتاب لتفسدن في الأرض مرتين ولتعلن علوا كبيرا فإذا جاء وعد أولاهما بعثنا عليكم عبادا لنا أولي بأس شديد فجاسوا خلال الديار وكان وعدا مفعولا ثم رددنا لكم الكرة عليهم وأمددناكم بأموال وبنين وجعلناكم أكثر نفيرا إن أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم وإن أسأتم فلها فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة ليسوءوا وجوهكم وليدخلوا المسجد كما دخلوه أول مرة وليتبروا ما علوا تتبيرا. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you to Sheikh Estes for giving us the khutbah today. Inshallah, he will be joining us tomorrow for the fundraiser. Please, if you need to purchase your tickets, there's tables outside as well over here in the podium. The website sells tickets. You could ask Brother Mirza, Brother Anwar, anyone from the board to purchase a ticket, and they'll be able to help you. Please join us tomorrow for the fundraiser. If you want to register your kids or yourselves for the Quran Academy, you're more than welcome. That is open. Every Friday we have women's group from 11:30 to 1 with Dr. Fatima Arafat for the women. And if, please, we need your donations. So we accept that right now, and we'll always accept that for the general funds of this mission and to the new building. And please make God to those in need and those who passed away, Brother Hamid passed away. Please.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا. اللهم بفضلك اجرنا وبحسن خلقك سلمنا وعلى ذلك نهدينا. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا ظلما كثيرا فاغفر لنا مغفرة من عندك. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا ظلما كثيرا فاغفر لنا مغفرة من عندك. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وعاف مبتلانا. اللهم اشف مرضانا ورب الناس واذهب باس عنهم انك الشافي لا شفاء الا شفاءك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم صل وسلم في كل مكان فوق كل ارض تحت كل سماء. اللهم احمي الاقصى وطهر الروح من كل الانجاز. اللهم يا ربي احمي بيتك الاقصى. اللهم يسر له جندك يدافع عن الكريم. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمشايخنا ولمن علمنا ولمن يفضلون علينا. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه.
Again, if you want to purchase fundraising tickets tomorrow, they'll be outside of the table. By the way, ticket sales are very cheap, only $30 for adults. So please purchase your ticket.